Hey guys, Dan here with Pain For You. Today's topic is going to be, is this TMS? And then the follow-up to that, which is everything TMS, right? And so there's a lot of people new to this concept who are asking, is this TMS? Have you ever seen anybody who's gotten better from this? And it's a very, very typical, normal question, because if you have something that's different from, Dr. Sarno's first book, Healing Back Pain. So a lot of people conclude that this TMS stuff relates to back pain, right? And then it's expanded from there over the past 5 decades since he really was doing this work. It's really expanded and expanded to the point now where, in the TMS communities, where there's Facebook groups of, thousands of people that all kind of gather to talk about TMS and healing and getting better, and Sarno and theories, and Steve Ozanich, Nicole Sachs, and Dr. Schubner, and Dr. Schechter, and, there's all these communities, Dr. David Clark, where people talk about this stuff all the time. It's really expanded from back pain, which Sarno figured out first, and has really expanded to stress illness, which Dr. David Clark expanded a lot with his medical practice, and has treated thousands and thousands of people for all sorts of things that ended up just being as a result of stress illness. And so I think everything can be called TMS that's medical. And is that accurate? I don't know. Some people will assign virtually anything. Oh, that's TMS. That's TMS. I got better when I focused on my mind-body stuff. And so let's not get caught too much on the definitions, right? And I'm not even sure what TMS means now. If we were to try to have a firm definition, what is TMS? Well, is it anything that happens in the body that has anything to do with psychology? Well, wouldn't that be anything, right? I don't believe we've got a mind and body that are connected. We have one system, right? What we think in our mind affects our body. What happens in our body affects our mind. It's one system. They're not separate. There's not a line dividing right here that's, that separates the mind from the body. When we feel emotions, we feel them in the body. I'm choked up, heavy heart, kick in the gut, right? So, is a certain symptom that you are experiencing TMS? Well, one way to find out is to not just look for somebody else who had the exact same symptomology as you do and got better through doing this work. I know that's a logical place to go and a really normal thing for people to do. They want to find, well, I've got this odd pain and I didn't see it in Dr. Sarno's book, but how do I know if it's TMS or not? So let me ask around. Is this TMS? Is that TMS? Is this TMS? Well, I had back pain and it went away, but now I've got something else. Is that TMS now? Right? And if you haven't done this yourself, you've seen it done countless thousands of times in these Facebook groups, these TMS groups. And it's a common thing. And it's a normal question to ask, and it's a valid question to ask. But what would be more important to say is, if you've got a new symptom or something moved, right, your back pain moved to your neck, okay. Does that mean you just hurt your neck and you're injured now? Or is it most likely just TMS moving around, or this mind-body thing moving around? Most likely that's the case. Now, if you fell down the stairs and you got a bad neck, go to the doctor, get checked out, make sure there's nothing medically wrong with you. Rule out life-threatening things like infection, disease, cancer, right? Most other findings are incidental. So look, if you don't have anything significant, major, medically, no illness, no disease, no cancers, right? You haven't fractured anything because you haven't fallen down, you just kind of had a pain come out of nowhere. Then start to look at the other indicators. Is this TMS? I don't know. How stressed are you? What was going on emotionally at the time that this new symptom came about? Okay, that's a big indicator. What kind of personality types are you? Are you a perfectionist? Are you a good person, meaning a goodist, a people pleaser, putting other people's needs before your own? Which is a wonderful trait because lots of people like you, but it's infuriating to ourselves. So, do you have the personality types of people with TMS? And connect the dots, right? Look throughout your life history and say, what symptoms have I experienced throughout my lifetime? Oh, I had headaches in high school. I had stomach problems in college. Well, high school and college are particularly stressful times for a lot of people. And so, connect the dots between your symptoms and your life and your stress levels and your emotional world. Some people will say, you know what, I didn't realize it, but my back pain started right around the time me and my wife started having problems and, all the stress of the marriage, right? Or my grandmother died and soon thereafter I started developing, it was 2 months later, but I soon started to develop, IBS or gastrointestinal problems or reflux. And a lot of times if we're not thinking about it, we just immediately dive into the medical world and we start seeing specialist after specialist. It's really easy to get lost in that medical, search for what's wrong and kind of miss the connection. So I've got a self-assessment. So if you're saying, is this TMS? Is this TMS? Go to painforyou.com. This is not a pitch. I'm not selling you anything or anything. Just go to painforyou.com. There is a video there that explains how pain or symptoms start and how they become chronic. Then there's a downloadable self-assessment. There's also a bonus, mistakes you can make that'll keep your symptoms going or keep your pain going. So enter your email, download it. I'm not selling anything. Just get that self-assessment. And it's about 10 pages. If you don't have a printer, just look at it on the screen and get out a blank piece of paper and go through the exercises. Because that self-assessment will help you go through all of the typical things that anybody well-educated in TMS would evaluate with you to see whether or not it's likely that your symptoms, the ones you are currently experiencing, fall under the realm of TMS or this mind-body stuff. So, can some people go overboard on calling everything TMS? Sure, they can. Some people will say, well, I've got an autoimmune issue, so it's not TMS. Well, check it out. Search Google. Does stress affect the immune system? The answer is going to be yes, yes, yes. So even things like common colds, people will say, yeah, that's TMS. I'll say, really? Are we ignoring germs? And sometimes it's such a leap of faith to call so many things TMS. My allergies, my asthma, my acne. It's TMS, right? And part of me is still the skeptic, and as much as I know about all this stuff, I still go, really? Are we calling everything TMS? Is there nothing that's not TMS? But when you step back, and when I step back and I say, okay, does TMS just basically mean too much stress as a result of stress in our lives, as a result of emotions? Like, look, just thinking a thought can cause stress, can cause a fight or flight response in our body, right? So yeah, I guess, since the whole thing is one system, it's not two separate systems, most things that happen to us that we call illness or not being well can very much be affected or influenced by our stress levels, our emotions, our thoughts. And so I guess everything could be TMS. I mean, look, if you fall out of a tree and break your arm, that's not TMS, right? The body will heal. But if the pain is still there 6 months later, it's not necessarily TMS, but you've taught the nervous system to stay in pain even though the bone has long healed. So So look, it really gets gray in a lot of these areas. And what I would encourage you to do is not look for exact answers and, scientific proof that this one symptom is TMS, but that one's not. We can get lost in those debates forever. And so, again, I would encourage you to say, all right, I've got weird symptoms going on. There was no physical trauma like a car accident, so let me look at the emotional side of it. Let me do an assessment and see whether or not I've got the personality types for TMS, meaning I put other people first, I'm a perfectionist, I'm overwhelmed, overstressed, overly critical, right? The personality types, it's all in that self-assessment on my website. There's a process that'll help you uncover whether or not you are very prone to repressing or pushing away or not resolving your emotions. There's a pain history or a symptom history that will help you connect the dots, and that assessment will help you answer the question of, is what's going on with me a mind-body or TMS process? Much better than trying to search throughout the internet to find somebody else with the exact same symptoms. Which one's going to be more important to you? Everybody's different. Finding one person who was able to get rid of pelvic pain may say, well, maybe it's possible. But you still got to go through the self-assessment and say, hey, does this fit with what's going on with me? And invariably what you're going to find out is most of us have the TMS personalities. Most of us are self-critical. Most of us don't like these emotions because they're uncomfortable at best and scary and dangerous at worst. So, is this TMS? I'm not suggesting you stop asking the community because it can give you a quick answer if somebody else goes, yep, had the same thing, it is. But don't let it stop there. Do the self-assessment. And if not my stuff, read the Sarno books, read Steve Ozanich's books, read Nicole Sachs' book. And you will see that there's common themes about the type of person and personality type who's prone to these mind-body symptoms. So do the self-assessment. That's just as important, if not more so important, than finding the person who's got the identical situation. And some people do get hung up on that. They're like, not only do I want to find somebody who's got my same symptom, but I want proof that they fixed it through this mind-body process, right? And if they haven't proven it yet, then my problem is physical, right? So don't get hung up on looking for somebody else with the identical symptom who's used TMS mind-body approaches to get better. Do the assessment. See if it makes sense for you. Make a decision for yourself. Some people ask, do I need to go see a TMS doctor? Look, if there's one around you and you've got the funds to do it, by all means, go do it. But like the vast majority of people have, quote-unquote, self-diagnosed. And I don't even like using the word diagnosed because that's a medical term. Self-determined. They have decided, they have done the research, they have connected the dots, and they have decided and determined that this is what's going on for me. And then they have decided and committed to doing this mind-body emotional process to get rid of these symptoms. And they have decided to take on the mindset that my body's okay and I can stop worrying and start focusing on wellness and happiness and joy and smiling and resuming my life because thank goodness I'm not broken, right? So is this TMS? I don't know. Are you the TMS type of person? Does your pain history correlate to that? Did these symptoms start up when something fairly significant was going on? Those are really important. Don't look for the exact scenario in somebody else who used these techniques to get better. Look, if you can find it, great. And if that gives you a boost of confidence, great. But you still want to do the self-analysis because you're not that person. They're not you. Your life and situation is different from them. So, hopefully this gives you a little direction there. Is this TMS? Is everything TMS? You can figure it out. Follow the self-assessment. Again, that's at painforyou.com. Enter your email address. Hit the submit button. and you'll be taken to a page where you can download these 2 documents, the self-assessment and the 11 mistakes that keep us in pain or other symptoms going. So, thank you. I will talk to you guys soon.